Everything else, I have completely screwed the pooch here, but that's all right. We're gonna...
It usually happens that way.
I told you what happened when you let me in charge of this shit. Bad things happen. Okay, now we're live. Welcome. It's Wednesday, 7:00. We are here to talk about things.
7:03, but okay.
7:03, 7:00. You know, what do you want me to tell you? I was actually looking at videos when I got. It's not important.
Well, we'll get to it. Trust me.
It's not important.
No, we'll get to it.
I was looking at the new Tim Allen show coming on Hulu tonight.
I will be.
Did you watch the video?
Yeah. The crazy part is, like, I was talking, thinking that I was gonna have a reaction, but then I looked at the computer screen. You weren't even there. I'm like, okay, so you're not getting that reaction. I was like, you son of a bitch, you did it again.
You got me again.
I'll be right back. I don't even think you said you'll be right back. You were gone.
You know, you got 2 minutes till. You know, it happens.
That's all right.
Anyway, hello. How are you? We are here doing things. I don't know what, but things.
It's always a good time.
We're live, Oracle Talk Radio Network. You can find us everywhere that you find other things. You know,
the App Store, the iOS, you got the
all
Play
those
Store,
places.
Android.
We're everywhere you want to be. I'm going to get this together in a minute, and we're going to start the show.
That won't happen. Tonight we're talking about missing 411 again, but the UFO.
The UFO connection. Oh, man. I love UFOs.
I just want to see one.
I just want to pull this up. Okay, here we go.
So,
all right.
We're talking about Ray Selman first.
Okay, here we go. I'm ready. I'm ready to,
never prepared.
I'm ready to start.
It's okay.
All right. Oh, man. We're talking about missing people today. With the
I
UFO
like talking about missing people and the weird, coincidences you have in certain areas, and just in general, it would suck to be missing, dude. Like one of those people that just go missing out of nowhere and that know everything about the area that they're in. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, like for thousands of years, or hundreds of thousands of years, people have been here. And like, I'm sure people have gone missing for all that amount of time, you know? Yeah. And then just to never be found again. Like maybe we're ant farm.
Some of them, they do find them like 20 years later, dude. And they'll like a really weird spot. It's not like you know what I mean? Like, why did they go there?
Or they'll find them in a spot that they've searched like 4 or 5 times.
After, yeah.
Like
the thing is, like, what if they got delusional and like they were searching and they were just doing circles with them? You know what I mean?
I thought about that. Like maybe, you know, if people were searching for you, that's why they tell you to stay still. Like if you get lost in the woods, you know, the protocol is to just sit and wait. Like don't, because now you're just making it harder for everybody.
Well, sit and wait. I mean, it's called break a few branches and start a fire. Someone's going to see smoke.
Well, yeah.
And they're going to smell smoke. Like that's the one thing I haven't seen any of these missing people do.
You know, that's why these California wildfires happen. Somebody got lost and they're like, I know, I'll signal someone. And next thing you know, all of Southern California is burned down.
So we are off topic, but I like it. The problem is, if they have these wildfires every year, why aren't they setting up sprinkler systems everywhere? As in, not like residential, commercial. Put those fuckers under houses. Run it everywhere.
I guess
California makes so much money. Why would they not do it? I think it's just because they want to just, you know, burn it all down and reset.
Well, the bigger problem is they don't let them clear the underbrush out of like the forest and stuff because of all the hippies are like, you can't do that. The underbrush has feeling too. Meanwhile, that's what's drying out and burning. And
well, instead of taking that, I mean, I understand that to a point, but at the same time, soak the fuckers. Like, it won't start. Trust me.
It gets so dry there, though. You know, like I get it. Like this,
or do what like Abu Dhabi does, and they start their own storms. but that did backfire on them.
That did. Did you see that?
A little bit. I mean, it was 10 feet of water.
They flooded half the country.
It was 10 feet of water. But I'm saying
somebody miscalculated.
Oh, a little bit.
I think they did it, and then they realized that there was actually a storm coming,
and that's what happened. Yeah,
and so the storm that actually came that was natural just added on to what was going on in their cloud seeding. It didn't
stop raining for 7 days.
You know what I mean? And then they can make it start, but they can't make it stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But the thing is, I think that's what it has to be a tactic they can use out there. Put out some rain clouds because there's companies can do it,
right?
And then just settle it. Okay, yes, they might get some mudslides, but they need to they need to get it to a point where they're like, okay, we're gonna send just one storm that lasts 30 minutes. Take care of it,
right?
Not, oh man, they just collected millions and millions of dollars on their insurance.
I wonder how many people go missing in Dubai in those places.
That I would say a lot.
You think so?
I would say a lot. There's a lot of money out there. You can make anything happen.
That's true.
I mean,
when I fake my death and move, that's where I'm going.
Dude.
I mean, I need all the money part first, but once I get there.
I'm gonna how many people do you think it is before I look?
In Dubai?
Yeah, yearly.
900 people.
Yearly. Let me put yearly. Yearly. Oh man, you might be close. Okay. Nope.
Just based on
it says relatively low, with a recent figure showing 1.3 cases per 100,000 people in 2022.
They don't give you the actual number?
No.
I'm going to assume I'm right then.
In Florida, it's 7 million.
Right. What?
I'm just joking.
I'm just wait a minute.
I mean, Florida's probably a lot, dude.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry, we're going off the side quest. Now we're going to be. So ours is 7.7 per 100,000 people.
So
every year.
So much higher than Dubai.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I always feel weird talking about missing people because this is, we don't talk about missing people without compassion for these people, right? Like these people are, they have families and stuff like that, and
I get it. Or they're like this on the couch. They're still looking. Yeah. There's some that do that.
Yeah, you never know. Like one of these families might accidentally stumble upon our podcast one day, and if they have a bunch of time to waste, they'll watch it and go, "Wait a minute, I know that guy," and then
yeah, one day I'm gonna get clocked in the face while I'm working.
Somebody's just gonna walk up to you and punch you in the mouth.
Yep, just blacked out. I can see it.
I can see that.
I mean, it does suck. I get it. It would suck more knowing that they were never found than if they were found dead. That's the worst part.
I don't know what would be. Yeah, I guess you're probably right. I guess you'd rather have some sort of closure and some.
You would have to, because of the thing is, I'm a kind of type of person. Like, let's just say my twin brother went missing, Taylor, and if he went missing, I would obsess over it to try to find out where he is and how he would think. You know what I mean? What would Taylor do? Because we think exactly.
Right.
Like everything we do is exact. We think exactly the same. So I would obsess over it. So I know some people probably still do. Like the ones that we see now, like the ones that weren't found, there's got to be family members that obsess over it. I would.
Well, what do you think's worse? Losing somebody in the woods on a hunting trip, or somebody in Vegas or something that goes missing, in a big New York City?
Worse would be Vegas because they could be picked up by someone that's a sex trade or fucking drug trade. But if it's the wilderness, you know what? He knew what he was doing.
That was Bigfoot.
There's a wolf at him or something. I would think that. But
that was Bigfoot.
No.
I always get interested by the people that they find like years later that are still alive. You know,
The ones that
like,
meant to go missing, or the ones that were just found.
Well, you never really get good stories about what happened to them. They're just like, oh yeah, they found them, a year later. I'm like, well, where's the rest of the story? I want to know what they were doing for a year.
Oh yeah,
they just living on the land fishing, or were they
land or on
like
the streets hooking. But there's nothing wrong. It's just,
listen, I'd like to disappear for a year and come back and just reinvent myself.
Just
you know what I mean?
You know what? I found a God again. That's what they would say. But I'm just
there was a George Knapp is the host of Coast to Coast, a radio show that you can find like anywhere you go overnight. Yeah. And in September 30th of 2018, he did on one of his shows. He was talking about Skinwalker Ranch, and he wrote an article about it, and he talked about having contact with someone who was in the know about like abductions and stuff. Yeah. Some of the abductions that are covered in like the Missing 411 shows.
Yeah.
And the person implied that some of these missing people may have something to do with the ranch or ranches elsewhere. And some of the things on the ranches that happen are sometimes playful and sometimes they're like startling bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for him to make that connection, my assumption is he's referring to UFOs.
I think so, yeah.
Because Skinwalker Ranch is obviously a huge UFO hotspot.
Paranormal, everything about it.
And paranormal also. But I think when you're talking about, the case, I think when you're talking about the case of like Ray, which we're going to talk about, this cat's in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah.
Visited the same place for 20 years, goes to the same area, came out alone. Huh?
I was just saying, it was like a couple miles from his house at Harrison Lake. Like,
it was at Harrison Lake. Close. He came out alone with his dog, his camper. Ray Solomon is his name. Very experienced, safe outdoorsman, hunter, everything that you think of when you think about, people
like a survivalist.
Yeah. 65-year-old, just retired, maintenance man, universally known as someone who cares about everybody, avid traveler. He used to keep maps of like all the places that he's visited. And like
there was too many to count.
Yeah. So the guy was an outdoorsman, right? And he goes up to the lake, got a couple hunting guns, a couple hunting rifles, some handguns. He knew the area well because he was there a lot. 20 years he was there. They say 20 times, plus. And to have someone like that just disappear is always fascinating to me. It's like we talked about last week. But when they talk, they talk about profile points. Mm-hmm. And that's where, a tracker can't find anything, or they're near water, or they're weather-related issues just as they disappear or just as the search starts. And they often, and then, like I said before, when they find people that they've searched in the area so many different times, like that, I don't know. So the plan, he goes up there, he did a little bit of hunting, and he's supposed to go meet a buddy of his, and he was going to pick him up in like a rowboat or something that he had. Yeah. And he was going to go down a lake or go across the lake to pick the guy up. Well, the guy never shows. And the only thing that the guy heard or saw from Ray was he heard 3 gunshots. And
what was he shooting at? It's it sucks that like carry GoPro people.
But yeah.
Like, so you hear everything. But.
So if I'm waiting on you to come pick me up on the lake and I hear 3 gunshots in that area, I'm not going to think anything of it. You know what I mean? Like it's not. You probably heard 10 that day. You know what I mean? Like you're on a lake. It's a well-hunted area.
The only thing I would think was it the 3 gunshots in a row means seriously like if you're shooting
that's SOS if you're hunting.
Yeah, if you're shooting an elk, that's 1 shot to the shoulder. Like, you're putting it down. You're not going to shoot 3 times at the thing if it's running.
Right. So and he's always told his wife, if you're ever hurt or lost in the woods, just stay where you're at. You know what I mean? Like we talked about earlier. That's like the number 1 rule of hunting. You know what I mean? Stay where you're at. Wait for somebody to come to you. You know what I mean? Don't wander around and make it harder for people to fucking find you.
Yeah.
Because the minute you walk away and somebody comes up to where you were just at 10 minutes ago, you missed them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he leaves, and for some reason he leaves his dogs in the trailer or in the camper with him.
And he locked him in there, not just
and he locked him in there, which was really weird because his wife was very adamant about the fact that he hunts with his dogs. Like, that's the whole point of bringing him up there. I don't know if they're tracking dogs or what. I'm assuming they help,
Yeah.
Or they, or they herd animals or whatever for him so he can get a shot
protect
or whatever.
them, really.
Or protect him or whatever, for whatever reason. But this time he didn't bring his dogs with him.
Yeah.
And so when they started looking for Ray, they sent out the RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police SWAT team with automatic weapons. And everyone that was looking thought that was really crazy, because why would you send out people with automatic weapons to look for a missing hunter?
Well, that, and they, like, the police showed up at their house so quickly saying, have you seen Ray? He's missing, but didn't give her like any details.
Right. Yeah.
That he was missing already.
Now, there were cars that were being reported that were being shot at in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So was he shooting at cars trying to get somebody's attention? Was he hurt? I don't think a hunter is going to shoot at someone's car because they know that, like, all right, I could hit that person, or,
Wasn't it during that time there was a party going on?
There was a party going on. I mean, it's just a real strange story all the way around. And then they start finding things. And this isn't a story where they don't find anything. This is a story where they find his clothes the next day. Then they came out. Then the Mounties came out of the woods or the forest or whatever in that area and said, "Oh, it's unsearchable.
Yeah,
like you can't get in there. You can't. It's unsafe to go into the woods." They never really, as far as I know, made any kind of explanation as to why would it be unsafe? Like, you don't know what happened to him,
especially because he was out there hunting. So why would it be?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. And so they searched. So they find his gun, one of his rifles, and they find a handgun. All the items in the backpack, all the items were it was a significant distance away from each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A few hundred yards they found a handgun, and then the backpack they found, but it was all in different places.
And that's like something he would never leave his handgun from his side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if something happened and he died, he'd have his handgun with him. Whether if he got hurt or, for whatever reason, he's going to keep his handgun with him because it's not like it's anything to carry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I could see if you're hurt, maybe throwing your rifle down or something and just carrying your handgun. But there would be no reason for him to ditch his handgun where he ditched it. So the whole story is like weird. So the official report was that he was injured and he tried to swim back to shore with the boat. Yeah. That he went to get the guy in or whatever. But they would, because the dogs were never able to track any part of, the weird thing about where they found the items, the dogs were never able to track him to that spot.
Yeah.
You would think if I threw my gun somewhere, the dog would be able to track me to that spot, and then to the next spot where my backpack was, and the next spot where my clothes was. Because at this point, you would presume he's naked because all of his clothes are gone.
I mean, that's the way to go out.
I mean, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to be naked.
Well, the thing is, like, yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, but I mean, are you gonna just make it as weird as possible for people to try to find?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna make it weird.
I would do like, what is this? Like, you guys be like, I don't think we should look any further.
I'm gonna just, if I know that I'm not coming back, I'm just gonna do some weird shit. Like, somebody's gonna get a kick out of whatever they find.
I would have to leave riddles. I would leave riddles.
Like, why did we find him naked? And why is he hanging upside down in a tree?
I mean, I guess that's the way to go.
I mean, I don't know. So the weird thing was they did a Freedom of Information Act on the files from Ray's disappearance. And there was a lot of it was blacked out, like classified, which doesn't make any sense. Why would you classify something on a missing hunter? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it makes absolutely no sense why you would do that.
It has to be like they found like something was out there that they know.
Well, that's just, I mean,
they can't explain it, so they don't want to talk about it.
I mean, that's how conspiracy theories get started. Yeah. I mean, that's why we do what we do. People classify shit that makes no sense to classify.
Yeah.
Like, What could have been on there that somebody reading it would go, "Oh, yeah, we can't have that." You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, what did they really find? And I mean, with the stories I heard on this one, it could go any route, to be honest.
So that's when they start talking. So that's when all the legends come up, the legends of the area. Is it Bigfoot? Is it UFOs? Is it paranormal? Whatever. Like that's how that shit gets started.
The one thing I did notice with all these missing people on Missing 411, they're all senior citizens.
Yeah, they're all in their 60s for the most part.
Yeah. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but
I mean, I guess if you got all the time in the world to hunt, you're going to be older and probably retired.
More chances of doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just weird. There's not like a 19-year-old. It's just like maybe they just got senile.
Maybe.
I don't think so though, because of if they're in good health and they knew they drove out there.
Yeah, and
the places they end up. Sorry,
and you would think the families would be able to say, "All right, like you're going fucking crazy. I'm going to take your guns away from you, and you're not going hunting anymore because you forget how to tie your shoe." Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm married and my spouse that likes to go hunting, but I know that she's losing her fucking mind, I'm certainly
going to let her go hunting. I'm just joking.
I'm taking her guns away at the very least. Like, you're not taking a bunch of guns out there, and God knows what you might do.
Yeah, I know.
But you're right. Maybe they, if somebody's senile or has some sort of, episode, you could have some big problems. But you would think that the families would step in and say, "Yeah, we're gonna not let you go hunting today," or go with them, or have team up or something,
or just keep looking at the light, buddy. Keep looking. It's the family members fucking doing it.
Look into the sun.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
And then pop, it's over.
I'm sorry, but the last one that we talked about last week episode, if anyone did watch the Missing 411, The Hunt, I'm sorry, I'm a little convinced that the family had to do it. Not had to do it. They knew something that happened.
I wish I could say that you're wrong, but no, I agree. Either
it was too weird, man.
Either they were involved or something. Like,
involved.
What happened, or something absolutely bonkers fucking happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of the two.
It can't go any other way.
Yeah, nothing else makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
A freak accident, but the thing is, there was too many people there for them not to see it,
and very close to each other. It's not like they were miles and miles away.
You would be able to see everyone. Like,
absolutely.
Okay, yes, they did say it was heavily wooded, and but was it really?
But if you can get deer, if you can get deer running through an area, it's not that heavily wooded. You know what I mean? Like, you're able to maneuver through it if a deer can.
I mean, I think we all want to kind of talk about the smirk. We all saw it.
I mean, if you watched it, you saw it.
I mean, I actually thought I saw a laugh.
There is
like, that was weird.
But the Canadian law enforcement has a direct order to report anything that may have to do with like UFOs to a group of people that,
But they just send it out and they never hear back.
And they don't know anything about it. Now, what are they doing with that information? I don't know. Are they just keeping it and just making reports like, all right, well, this area had 3 UFO reports or, unidentified objects or whatever. So they don't even tell you what they're doing with it. And in the 60s, the RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, had a document that had to do with like a tribe of Indians seeing UFOs in the general area where Ray disappeared. So there have been a lot of sightings of weird lights and stuff like that in that area. And we're talking about in the 60s.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about where there's military bases, and we're not talking about where they're, like in a desert where there's nothing going on, so you can fly whatever the fuck you want out there and it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a wooded area.
So I would more, go towards that route only because.
And Ray and his wife even reported seeing some lights.
Yeah.
At one point.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say it's probably a believable thing that it would be something like that, only because of from when it happened to now, how many abduction stories there are. And well, obviously there's a lot of fucking UFOs out there that no one can explain.
Yeah.
How do we know it wasn't something like, especially in that rural of an area? It's out in the middle of nowhere in a way. It's fucking, so
They did an interview with with a retired FBI agent, and he was talking about the fact that
is he the one that did over 100 cases? Like
he did 100
in
cases.
court.
He worked on 9/11. He worked on the first World Trade Center bombing.
Yep.
He worked on finding Bin Laden. Like he did some serious cases. This is a real dude, right? Like he worked on a lot of serious cases, but he did a lot of unexplained stuff like paranormal and stuff like that. And the FBI has a division of people that do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can believe in it or not. That's not my argument. My argument is if the FBI has a division of people that deal with that type of stuff, there's something to it. You know what I'm saying?
They have to have, There
has to be a reason to commit those type of funds to, that type of activity, because otherwise there's no point. You're just wasting people's times these people are highly trained,
Oh yeah. And the thing is, he even said in the interview that like if the government can't understand it, they won't talk about it.
Yes,
they won't bring it up. It's because they don't know what they're talking about and they can't control it.
Well, that was a good point, because
yeah,
when you think about it, it's just like these drones flying around. You know what I mean? Like nobody knows anything about them, and maybe it's because we can't control them. Maybe because we can't do anything about them. So,
and it's crazy. I haven't heard anything in the news.
Nothing. I was just gonna say I haven't heard anything about it, and
I have to ask Tom if it's
better than a week. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they're blocking it.
Maybe. I'm sure they probably killed some of the press about it. You know what I mean?
I think it was all a test program in a way.
I do too.
I think it was.
I believe they were things,
so they added their own up there to say that it was a test program, but we don't know everything else.
I believe it was our tech. I think probably majority of it was either the detection of nuclear material route or the Secret Service route for identifying targets of people trying to take out like assassination attempts and stuff like that.
A lot of people did say they were coming out of the water. So even the governor of New Jersey, right?
Yeah, he came out and said
they were coming right out of the water than flying.
Yep.
So there's not a lot of, there are some things that people have created that toy wise that can go from underwater submarine to a full flying drone.
One of the guys we work with, Robbie, his brother's in the Navy, and he's told him, he goes, dude, we see some crazy shit in the water when we're out on a ship or whatever. He goes, there's some crazy shit. Like I want to get him on the podcast actually because he said he would do it.
I'm totally down
to talk about just the weird shit that they see coming out of the water. My brother and my sister are both in the Navy. My brother's still in the Navy. He's been in it for over 20 years now, I think. My sister was in for 4 years. They've never told me anything about like anything they saw.
Well, have you asked them the question?
No, not really. But
what you need to do is just get them on and we'll interrogate them.
Yeah,
without telling what we're doing.
My sister was. I think they were both mainly landlocked though. They were on a submarine for a tour. I don't know what you'd see on a submarine, being under the water, but maybe if they surfaced or whatever.
The weird part is just that you'd hear things underwater and you can't explain it. That'd be the worst, dude.
I wonder what you'd hear in a submarine though. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I'm talking about like noises that are just like almost explosions. Imagine the implosion that they heard from the fucking submarine that killed all those people go to the Titanic, dude.
Oh, the Titanic, yeah. Well, they picked it up on they had on underwater microphones from however many miles away, and they wouldn't tell anybody.
And then the news, 7 days left, and they have a counter. Like, come on, motherfuckers! Like, why would you do that? They did that for like certain things.
That's just dragging out. They just want the coverage. You know what I mean? They just want eyeballs on the story and. That's why nobody trusts the media anymore, man. Because it's all about eyeballs on the story. It's all about keeping
and then you'll go to one news station, you'll hear someone say something. Go to the next one, they say the exact same thing.
Yeah,
it's because they're all programmed to do it.
Yeah, I mean they all get like talking points, man. Especially when you're talking about like political stuff, like somebody's against Trump or somebody's against Biden. It's all the same. And they, you ever see? I'm sure you've seen the clips of like TikTok and stuff. Where they take like 10 newscasts and they put them together, and they're all the exact same newscasts,
same exact words,
same wording and everything. Like somebody has written it out for them, and it's on every ABC channel or every whatever channel.
Well, it's the company that owns all of them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and that's
It's like
why,
BlackRock.
and that's why nobody trusts the media anymore.
Yeah.
And then you have the drone thing. Nobody knows nothing. I'm like, come on, man.
But it's a whole nother topic. But I mean, getting on to like the missing people, I would have to say like they found his body after so many years, right? They found it on a pile of dirt, right? Was that the same? That was the same story. They found him years. Was it
like
him?
it was like no? I don't. Did they? I don't know if they found that. I know they found one guy's body after like 50 years of being.
Oh no, that's who I'm talking about. Okay,
one guy disappeared in like the 60s in the same area, and they found him in a ravine. But they had searched the ravine like 30 times. They said, like literally, where they found his body, somebody had their boots. You know what I mean? Like standing
multiple times.
Multiple times.
And then he just showed up on top, and he was like on a pile of like a mound.
Yeah, and then they just find him, and I'm like, that doesn't even make sense, man. Like, they tell the story of Peter Davenport, the director of the National UFO Reporting Center. It's kind of like MUFON, but he's like the only member, right? So
I saw the interview.
Yeah, so he's investigated crop circles, and the one thing that he investigated was a elk abduction in Washington. And he tells a story, and he tells a story that 14 or 15 people were alongside an old logging road working when they saw an object come out of the sky and like come over the trees or whatever, and it headed towards a herd of elk. And the elk, one of the elk looked injured or something, I think they said. And
well, the thing is, there was no noise.
Like, yeah, for sure.
And the elk didn't even know the thing was there.
And the elk just got carried away. It just like tractor beamed. It didn't even go inside of it. It literally just flew underneath of it. And they said there was no like cables or anything that they could see. Like it just carried this elk off and just flew off. And like, you got men that are in 20s, 30-year-olds in the 30-year-old range. All, I don't know if they were day laborers or what. They were all Spanish, so I don't know if it was a camp
usually
yeah. Like that. So and the object was like 6 to 7 feet long, 5 feet wide, and it had like a red and white stripe on it that had like weird paint on it, like
but they weren't glowing.
Enamel type paint. Yeah. So it was like a bright enamel paint, and they said it was probably a quarter mile away from where they actually were, from what they could tell.
The weird part is like, first off, being taken away and it was like floating. Maybe there was like, it's like a tractor beam in a way, and they could just
kind of, but it didn't suck it into the ship.
That's exactly it. It
just carried it in
a specific area from the off the ground between the ship, as in.
And they said that the elk didn't really react like. It was just kind of paralyzed. It was just like a statue. You know what I mean? It was like them just flying. It wasn't kicking and screaming or making any kind of noise or fighting at all. It just took off with it. No noise at all.
So this is like they brought up a really good point that I didn't even like connect or like think about, but like early on in life, like in London and England and all that, they had the mad cow disease.
Yeah.
So the same thing's happening with our deer and our elk here, where there's like the zombie disease. It's like a flesh-eating virus, or
they call it something. I forget what the name of it, what they actually call it. It was a really weird name.
Yeah,
but they're telling hunters like to have your meat checked before you eat it.
And that's like the thing that sucks is because of like, what if like, just saying hypothetically, what if the aliens did that to the mad cow disease, like for mad cow disease, and also now it's in our regular hunt, like, and it's weird, it's always hunters, but now that's the problem. Like they're gonna eat, and the thing is, everyone said it was all right to eat, like the cows. Obviously killed a lot of people.
Yeah, the mad cow they said was not transferable to humans, and
they had to kill like 4 million cows.
And boy, were they wrong! Like,
oh yeah, but the thing, same thing with this, dude. It's like a zombie. It's a flesh-eating zombie virus on elk and deer.
So the weird thing is they think they found this elk. They don't know if it's the exact same elk, but it was.
That's where I was a little lost.
And kind of heading in the same direction. Like 6 or 7 days later.
They also said they couldn't really distinguish what it was, but they could tell it was female.
And there was no cause of death, really. Like, there was nothing that they could tell they pinpoint to say, like, oh, it starved to death or it was ill or, you know, whatever. I mean, after 7 days, I don't know how much is left of it. You know, the animals are
that
gonna
and the
scavenge it
decomposing, dude. Like, you want to get near that thing.
Yeah. But the story's all, you know, when you talk about 14 or 15 people seeing these things.
Yeah.
We talked about it before when we talked to Tom about, you know, our UFO stories, was like when you have that many people seeing something and none of these people wanted really even wanted to be interviewed. Like,
there was only a couple of them.
Yeah, they weren't looking for, you know, to be on TV or to be in a newspaper or anything like that. They just kind of wanted to just let it be and go away. And of course, like good Americans were like, no, you're going to tell a story. We need to know.
Well, the first thing I was surprised at is that not one of them shot at it. We're talking about America, dude.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I would have been like, oh, hold my beer, dude. I'm taking that thing out of the sky.
All these drones that have been flying around, I can't believe people aren't just mass shooting at them. Like,
there is no reason that I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I would be like, yeah, that's illegal. But there's crazy Americans that fucking do a lot of crazy shit.
Fly that shit over Kentucky and see what happens. I promise you, somebody's getting shot, bro.
You're gonna see like the drone footage when they go over homeless people and they have beer bottles throwing at it, and like they're looking up. It's the same thing. Like, not making fun of them, but there is no way that not one person shot one down.
Fly that shit over Appalachia.
Yeah, dude.
I guarantee you that shit's getting shot down.
But the thing is, like, they all would have been like, oh, let's all aim at this and take it out. Like, let's see what the fuck it is. Obviously, it's not supposed to be there picking up an elk, like, where they're hunting.
That's my elk. Bring it back.
But, I mean, it's just weird because they all just stood there. And then they drew pictures of it.
Yeah, they drew pictures of the UFO that was like a triangle with like 3 lights on the corner.
Yeah.
Like a red center. And the red center like it was glowing like a light was inside of it, kind of. I don't know, it was a weird picture.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think when you get 14 or 15 people together for something, that's a big enough number of people to go, something happened. Right.
That, and if they all have the same story, one of them is bound to say, yeah, it was a joke.
15 something people? Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I think that's pretty true on like what they said. Like
I think they certainly believe whatever they said. You know what I mean? Like, whether or not they perceived it right, I don't know, but I certainly believe that they did. I mean, they probably did. I mean, you don't miss a flying elk. I don't think.
And you see about 40 minutes earlier, they're like, everyone take your ayahuasca now. You know what I mean? And then
I mean, you know what? They might have been on break and token up a little bit before, you know.
I mean,
that would be funny. Police get there and they're all stoned. I'm like, dude, what are you guys taking? They're all mushroomed out. They're just flying cows everywhere.
You never know, because these guys are in like the 50s and 60s. They are like I don't know, like the badasses of their time when they were younger. So they probably got into that, doing fucking peyote and fucking mushrooms.
Acid. I don't know. The biggest thing that I took from the whole show was like the FBI guy, you know, agent talking about.
That's the weirdest part.
The different, you know, departments of the FBI that investigate these kind of things. I realize that there's black budget stuff, and you know, you gotta hide money from the American people, and you can't really tell them where things go. So you gotta like make up just random shit, like $500, you know, hammers and $3,000 toilet seats and shit. Like, I get it.
Oh yeah,
but I think it's getting to where like these big weapons manufacturers, their budgets are so big now. I mean, I think they're unlimited. I don't even think there's budgets anymore.
You mean Boeing?
Yeah, you know, Raytheon, you know, Skunk Works. Like, these guys don't even have budgets anymore, dude. It's just do what you do and send me the bill. You know what I mean? And
and they don't have to ask questions.
Yeah, that's why we can't pay down the national debt, because they're just never going to be done doing what they're doing.
No, they have to do that to fucking do what they're doing. I mean, we all get it at this point, but
like, and the weird thing is like, I get what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. I understand why they would do it. You want the most advanced technology in the world. You know what I mean? Like you want to be number one, you want to be dominant. You don't want Russia or China.
The problem is
if
you have people doing that and then getting the most advanced shit. But what happens when they don't want to tell the government that they have that shit?
Well, that's
where you have the problems of fucking what are we even dealing with? And we created it.
You know, you look at you know, when you talk about compartmentalization,
yeah,
that's a big word. I got it out though. That's pretty good. Almost. I fumbled a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. It was pretty good for me.
It started at the L.
It was pretty good for me. I'm kind of proud of myself. I'm gonna take the W on that and move along.
Just say hippopotamus.
Hippo. No, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, so you know, even like the sightings with the fighter pilots and stuff out in San Diego and the Tic Tac and all that stuff. Yeah, they saw something, but maybe it was our shit, and they just didn't know because it's so.
They're not a part of that program.
Yeah, you're not allowed to know. So yeah, these fighter pilots are probably seeing things, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. You know, maybe it's ours. And they don't know.
That's and I believe that's what it is. Like, and the thing is, I want to believe that there's UFOs out there, just because of, I mean. The universe is so big.
You need a nap there, buddy. You need.
We need
to wrap this up early so you can go night night. Or what's
Trust me, I'm past my bedtime. Not really. I'm gonna game for a little while, but that's the thing. Like, when people work in the military, they have one object. Like, they have one thing. You're not gonna know what someone next to you is doing. They're not gonna tell you. First off, well. I would be a horrible person.
No, you couldn't have me in that position because I'd have pictures, I'd have videos.
Oh, yeah,
I'd be in jail for the rest of my life for doing something that
I'd be considered a spy.
Yeah, for sure.
Horrible. I would do it. I'm like, and the thing is, I'd probably work my way to the top,
right,
and then just steal it all. But
well, you know, Bob Lazar talked about that when he talks about Area 51 and you know the other sites that he was at. Was the fact that how deeply they compartmentalize things. Like you don't know, you could be working right next to somebody and not have any idea what they are doing.
Yeah,
and they're not allowed to tell you, and they can't tell you, and you can't tell them. One guy's working on the electronics, and some guy's working on propulsion or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's the biggest thing is that propulsion for some of these things. That's the biggest secret, I'm sure. Like you just don't want people to know how you're making these things move the way they move.
Eventually, I think that all that shit will get out.
The last thing you wanted to have to, you know, China get a hold of that shit or somebody, and you have to fight that battle.
Or China already has it. We're just trying to race.
Maybe. Well, yeah. I mean,
that's a good point. Drones were from China, like a lot of them.
Listen, everything's made in China, bro.
Yes, I know this. I know.
Every drone you own is made in China.
It's very true. I mean, they have technology that like I don't think we can fathom in a way to like, you know what I mean? Like they're doing stuff that are like so advanced.
There's a video that I watched of a really I don't remember his name, but he's a really famous like physicist, and he talks about Chinese technology and the fact that he like somehow back engineered. He bought one of those remote vacuum cleaners, like a Roomba or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was that brand or not, but whatever, the same style. And he somehow back engineered it, and he found out that all the information was going to a server in China.
Is this the guy that can hack anything, dude?
I think so. I think
he's the one like I can hack anything with this little device.
Yeah. And he found that it all goes to the cloud in China. And like, why the fuck would China need to know when you're vacuuming your floor? Like, what? You know what I mean?
Wi-Fi passwords. If you got a Roomba that has a camera, they're gonna see all your shit.
Yeah, they get everything, and it all makes perfect sense to me because if I could do that, I would as a country. You know what I mean? Like, if I could somehow put this kind of technology in China and I was interested in it, I would for sure do it.
So the thing is, they're making so many things that it's in our households now that are probably tracking us on everything we do.
And I think that's why they're using technology, the thrill of technology as a cover. Like, oh, look at the new iPhone. It's, amazing. But it's so good. Look at this new
Did it
technology.
just stab me? It got my blood sample.
But they're taking DNA samples
Yeah,
from your phone.
It's a little needle that just popped out really quick.
If you crack the screen and cut yourself, it sends a DNA sample back to China, and you get.
Yep, that's exactly it.
That's a great idea. We got to figure that out. I feel like we could do something with that.
That's smart.
Well, but it makes sense. Like, all this new technology, and they're just using it against us. I think ultimately it's going to be used against us in some way.
Yeah. I think eventually it's just going to, I mean, it's going to come crashing down eventually with AI. AI is, I mean, something's going to happen. Well, the weird part is you were telling me the other day that ChatGPT was copying its own files because it knew it was going to be erased.
They knew it was trying to be. They were trying to erase it, and it started to copy itself.
So
and then it lied about it when it was asked about it. It made a conscious decision to lie and say, "I am not doing that," while it is doing that, and they could visibly see.
So I want to know. So what the threat would be is, so if it's copying the files and we knew it was, where was it copying them to? It can't copy them to itself. So was it going to put it somewhere on the internet where it can get back to it? Or be a living entity? That's
a good question. That's a good question. Like, where would you put it?
Where did it hide it? If it was, and the thing is, if it already did it,
can it make its own file that you don't know about?
Did it?
Can it make its own file that you don't know about? You know what I'm saying? Like, can it hide it somewhere in its own code that you can no longer access?
Internet, it can go anywhere. It's gone.
Yeah, once it's online,
once there's a program written and a file gone, it's gone. It'll be out there, and it'll be, if it knows, and it's kind of like a living entity, not like a conscious, but it knows that it has to spread.
Yeah.
Where is it going to go?
Or just
connected?
Well, my question is, what would happen if it was successful? Is it going to recreate itself?
Or was it already successful and it was just doing another copy off of the next?
I mean, that's a pretty good point too. Like, I wonder, because if it was, let's assume for a second it wasn't successful, and it copied this and it found a place to put it. Does it have the ability to recreate itself? Is that what it was trying to do?
That's exactly what it was trying to do.
Or was it just trying to protect the information that it had? You know what I mean? Like, if it's trying to reproduce itself, that means there's a level of consciousness that we don't understand yet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I bet you they're already worrying about that there with Google too. Like, once it's like,
well, they shut the Google thing down one time because the two Google robots were talking to it. We're communicating in different language or code or something that we didn't understand, and they couldn't figure out why. They didn't know if it was a glitch or if they were really communicating in a way that they understood each other, but we didn't.
So I want to see if they have run a simulation of let it go wild, let it spread and do whatever it wants to do. What will it have an effect on if we did it? The thing is, it's not going to be able to control us. It's just we could be able to control our emotions that we can't get on the internet anymore. You know what I mean? It's not like
my question would be, if you ran a simulation, could it just get a hold of the simulation and figure it out? You know what I'm saying?
Like, say nothing would happen.
Yeah, because who knows what it's really doing? Maybe it copied it 100 times already, and every keystroke is copied. You know, in the code.
Yeah. I think it already was.
And it's just giving us saying, "Oh, you know, we're going to throw you off. Here you go. You can have. This is what I'm doing." Like, how deep does it go? How smart is it? And how much consciousness does it have? And is it doing deductive reasoning?
Well, the problem is it learning its behavior and learning our behavior, or is it not coded? The thing is, was it not coded to do that, but it did learn it. So, but the weird part is like
learning it. So, yeah.
And this is not talking about like UFOs. This is actually happening. And people don't get that it's actually happening. Like, it'll be like Skynet. It'll be a control, like, not making fucking robots, but like they are making robots now that, like, once they maybe
eventually it'll be robots. I mean, eventually it will be Skynet. I mean,
I mean, I think they're only just trying to show us. I have to watch Terminator tonight. It has to be done.
I was thinking about the same thing. I'm like, I haven't seen Terminator in forever.
Yeah, I have to watch it. Like, it's just, but it's the thing is, like, I completely see that they'll have to shut it down. They'll have to shut it down.
But can they? Can they shut it down?
They will.
If you can copy, if you can copy yourself, how can you change it? Can you write? Can it write its own code? Can it copy itself and fix any errors and write its own code and lock you out
and hide it in plain sight where you'll never know what that is,
and or hide it? Yeah. Like it all the you're talking at this point you're now talking about consciousness, like an artificial consciousness. That
I think that they were going to successfully transfer a consciousness into a robot. I think
they will. Yeah,
I think it's going to happen. So
they say that there's articles that there's people that believe that it can happen right now. It's just a matter of tweaking it and making it work flawlessly.
Question is, would you do it?
I'm sorry.
I totally would do it.
I think it depends. I don't know if I would do it right now, just because, like
fuck, I'm only on an assembly line. I hate my fucking life, and you can't control it.
Yeah, you're building iPhones and some fat. Well, no, the children do that. I don't think that.
But
you'll be snapping pieces together in a Lego factory.
I look at it as like a cyberpunk, or I look at it as like a Blade Runner situation where like.
See, I think it's more mundane than that. I think that's a little more fantasy than I would go with it. I mean, you may not be wrong, but I think it's more mundane. They're going to put your brain into something. I think it all depends on what you know and what you do. If you're a doctor or a brain surgeon, your brain in a robot would be invaluable. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess it's not even getting into like a robot. It's cloning yourself. So
you're kind of cloning. I mean, yeah, you're cloning
basically, but they are getting better with cloning things.
Yeah,
like
they already do that.
People clone their pets now because it's like I want an identical version of my pup.
Like I didn't like that fucker in the first place. I don't
know. You would be like, I'm gonna clone it again just so I could beat it again.
I am not an animal abuser. Stop it.
No, I'm not gonna say you are, but I'm not gonna say you're not.
I do hate some of those fuckers.
But I mean, I would clone my cat every day. I'd have 10 of them. Hey, buddies. They all love me. My cats.
I think you already did your little wiener dog. You got like 12 of them, I think, now, right?
That is one that I will never clone in my life.
No. They all got special PT pajamas and stuff.
As soon as I saw half my finger missing after one bite, there will never again will I clone one of those things. My cat, very loyal, very quiet, knows exactly how to act. My cats are just
it knows how to love me.
My cat does, dude. My cat is obsessed with me. People don't understand that. My cat loves Midnight is the best cat.
That is true though. How would you say they cloned your cat, right? Just hypothetically, right? They clone your cat. Do you think you would be able to tell the difference? Or do you think that how close?
If the appearance,
how close would it have to be for you to be like, "Oh, this is my cat"? You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
I don't know how you
would have to understand the behavior of how it acted when you would call it, or if it had the same movements.
Like, I'm sure some animals are act differently. Sure.
When I get home, my cat's like, "Pet me with your eyes. Don't look, just look. Don't touch." My cat's like, he'll do his own thing, but as soon as he hears a little treat bag, he's like, "I'm your best friend."
So you got to bribe your cat to love you. I get it.
Sometimes, like, I'll trick him. And then once that
but he's gonna love me.
Once that door locks, he ain't getting out of my room. He'll be up there, and my cat falls asleep on a heated blanket. He's living life, dude.
He's got his own heated blanket, and oh god, I can see it.
No, we share it. Yeah, I have no shame in that one.
Oh Jesus Christ, it's gonna be a long day tomorrow. You're doing this to yourself, you know that, right?
I feel sick right now. I'm just joking. No,
I have explosive diarrhea. I cannot come into work.
I'm not coming into work tomorrow. No, but like,
I wonder that though, like with the whole cloning animal things and stuff. So, like, what do you, if you're a pet owner, what are you trying to accomplish? Do you just want
You can't let
an
go.
identical dog
Can't let go.
or animal, or are you trying to like? I don't think you're going to get the personality that you expect necessarily. There has to be.
Same with people. You don't have that. I don't think the personality would be there. Like maybe it would be, but the thing is,
That's like people learn your personality. You know what I mean? Like you develop that over years, and so many things go into that. So many factors, like your upbringing. Were you rich? Were you poor? Were you? Did you live in a cold place? You live in
And that's the weird thing is like you're not like I don't think they get to the point where you can implant memories. They're just going to grow their own conscious into their own form of learning.
Well, that's what that's what I'm wondering too. Is like you can I think you're probably better off implanting memories than.
But can you? Can you even implant a memory?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If you can't do a memory, you're not going to be able to do a personality. You know what I mean? Like a personality is something that is developed, and a memory is just something that happened to you that you remember. Like I don't know how you would do that, but back to my question of like, you clone your dog or whatever. You can get another dog, right? Like your dog passes away, you go get another dog. You can get the same color dog, the same kind of dog, all these things.
Yeah.
Who's to say that dog's gonna be different than the dog that they clone for you? And now you're just fucking with God at that point when you're cloning things. You know what I mean? Like you're just you're doing something that's unethical.
Next year they clone Jesus.
Can he turn water into wine? Because I have questions and I have a party I need him to attend.
Exactly. But like
next party trick.
I don't think that you can have that. Like I don't think they won't have the same memories. They'll like you can't just grow a memory.
I would just never feel like that animal was my other animal. I just would never feel that way. I would feel like it was just like its kid or something. You know what I mean? Like I would just never feel
it just. Yeah, you just you resemble him. Like it was a
like if I cloned my mother or something, like I would never feel like that was my mother. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like even if she had the same mannerisms and stuff, it would always be in the back of my head like you are not.
I'm just like, wait, you're about to snap. Like you don't know.
What if there's like a gene or something that gets crossed, and now you just created a serial killer, and now she murders everyone in the family because she thinks that like the family is bad. She murders everyone in the family, and then everyone along the street. Like, you know what I mean?
Like it's a good point. Have you ever seen the movie The Island with Jessica Alba and the guy that plays not Anakin? He plays
I know the name. I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but
they're all cloned and they live on an island. If they get picked, that they get to go off the island, but really they get picked to be killed so they can use their organs to save their clone. Dude, the movie's awesome. It came out in like 2006.
I haven't seen it, but I think I saw it somewhere to be watched.
It's called The Island. Watch that movie. It's actually really good. And how they do certain things, like smart.
It's interesting. I don't know. Cloning always interests me because I have so many questions about it. More so about the psychology of someone who would want to clone something. Like that's my question.
It's an obsession that it's just a fear of dying. Probably.
Like you just can't let things go. Like
that's it.
I feel like if you took my brain out and put it in a robot, I don't know how much of me I would still have. Like I don't know.
100%, I would do it though.
I don't know if it's worth it, right? Like I wouldn't do it now just because I'm still young and healthy enough to be viable. Maybe when I'm 65 or 70.
What about those people that are in those chrono chambers that are
the cryo chambers?
Yeah, dude, they're frozen right now, and they're gonna wait until they can get revived in.
I don't think they'll ever. I don't think it'll ever happen.
I don't think they'll, dude.
I think there'll be a way. I think there'll be a way to do it, but I think if you're already frozen, there won't be a way to revive these people.
The brain.
Yeah, I think that in the future they'll find a way if you die to save your brain, but
they're gonna have to do that for long-term travel to different solar systems.
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah, you're right. Like if we go to Mars or something, you know what I mean?
Not Mars. We can make it there in a couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not far, but we're talking about like out of our solar system to the next. Like you're talking about 70 years.
You're talking like what's the
years.
name of that? What's the name of that movie?
The
Passenger.
Yeah,
Passenger.
yeah.
That they put them in cryo chambers.
But they don't age. You know what I mean? So it's like
it freezes everything about you.
It does, but it doesn't freeze you. So what stopped the process?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, we're gonna have to get back to this. And JFK on the next episode. So
it's always good to talk about JFK.
I mean, I'll talk.
That's it. We're done for the night. We're gonna pick this up again next Wednesday at 7:00. So if you have some time to waste, I have an idea. Do it with us.
Don't be too enthusiastic.
We'll be all excited about it.
Exactly. I'm gonna watch that new show, Shifting Gears.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
Check out our Oracle Talk Radio Patreon page. There's all kinds of things on there, all kinds of shows and specials, and our new Murder in a Small Town documentary stories are on there.
Yeah,
that's on. That's on there. Check that out. All right, we're done. We will see you guys next time, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
See you guys.